Finally getting around to organizing my pantry. As you can see, it has not been done in a very long time, and it is an absolute disaster. I was doing really good and keeping everything in their little bins, like over here, but I haven't had time to deal with that. So I'm going to pull everything out, and I'm not going to make y'all watch that. So I'm going to get it all out on the counter, and then I will come back and we will put it back in together. I've pulled everything out of the pantry. What you see here is not even all of it. And there's some over here too. And the storage bins are over on the other counter. So there's a lot that was in there. I pulled most things out of the bins that they were in, except for our grits and oatmeal, because they're all out of their boxes, and I don't want to lose all these packets or have any of them bust open, because that will be a mess that I don't want to clean. So first thing I'm going to do is clean out the pantry with our cleaner, and I need to do this more often, but it requires pulling all of the stuff out of the pantry, and that's a lot of work. I'm trying to film this video and landscape in hopes that it actually uploads a little nicer, but it is extremely difficult to get everything in frame on my phone using landscape. So yes, the angles are terrible. I do apologize. I'm doing the best I can. I record and edit everything on my phone, move them off to flash drives, and then upload them on my laptop. And I noticed the video quality is slightly better when I do it that way as opposed to uploading directly from my phone, which doesn't make sense because you would think it would be the other way around. When it comes direct from the source, the quality would be better, but I don't know. Maybe there's extra settings on YouTube through a PC browser than there is through the app or the YouTube Studio app. I don't know. Not techie enough to understand all of that. Just had to take a little break, go pick my daughter up from the other end of the neighborhood because she didn't want to walk up the big hill. So now I'm trying to figure out what I was doing. And then I lost my rag. And already this is taking way longer than it should. I hate doing this because it takes so long to pull out everything and put it all back in. And this pantry design is a nightmare. Alright, I'm going to skip ahead on the video for y'all so you don't have to watch me crawl in this pantry anymore and clean out these shelves. This pantry is as clean as it's going to get at this point. It's almost as old as I am, so there's a lot of stains and stuff that aren't going to come off. Trying to figure out what I'm going to start with at this point, and I really have no idea. This one didn't close up the garage, so I opened it, and now everything has been dumped out. Lovely. Okay, so I'm trying to think if I want to change things around, because we've been organizing this pantry for the same way almost as long as we've lived here, and it doesn't seem to be working super great. And I know a big part of the problem is how deep this pantry is. Like, look, my entire arm is just gone. You know, like, this is how far I have to go in to touch the back of the pantry. It's absurd. I don't know how to make that work better without like pulling out and making built-ins or something, which is just not gonna happen. I think I'm gonna keep my baking things where they normally are because I use those a lot. I bake baked goods often, and if I cook a meal, it's pretty much always from scratch. So I feel like having these things easy access is a necessity. And I have to decide which gets used and which doesn't. and then put the ones that I don't use often in the back because they're so hard to get out, and you have to literally pull everything out of the pantry to get those things out. So egg replacer and xanthan gum don't get used much anymore because we can eat eggs again. My husband's issues were resolved there, and the gluten-free flour I use now has xanthan gum already in it, so I don't need to add that. Cassava flour, I'm just going to put it in the back. It's still good, but it's not one I use often. Let's see, millet, another one that's not used often. Put those there. Let's see, tapioca flour, I just used that the other day. Bobas and chocolate chips. Bobas also were used just yesterday. I'll put those with the sweet rice flour. They're similar. Tapioca we'll put next to that. These caramels and butterscotch don't get used very often. So let's put those on top of the egg replacer, and then the xanthan gum on top of that. There. Now that stuff is done. Polenta and cornmeal. Polenta, cornmeal. Neither one really get used often. I'll put those together. They're almost the same thing anyways. Let's see, chocolate chips. No, I use those a lot. I put them on my ice cream, so that's a very common thing to be pulled out of there. Unsweetened coconut is normally only used when I bake, so I'll put that with the tapioca. White chocolate chips, also used when I bake. Dutch cocoa, we'll put that, let's put that under the white chocolate chips. Sweetened coconut, I put that on my ice cream sometimes too. So let's see, perfect. Sweetened coconut and mini chocolate chips. Next up here we have cornstarch. It's used slightly more often than the tapioca flour. I don't remember what these are called. I call them the crunchy Indian noodles because they come from the Indian store, in the little Indian section of the grocery store. Tapioca pearls, powdered sugar. Alright, so powdered sugar can go behind those. Tapioca pearls can go on top of powdered sugar. These guys can go here. I have this sugar cookie mix that I have not used because the last batch that I made from this company was chocolate chip cookies, and they were not great to say the least. So I'm just going to set this aside for now, and maybe I'll make it this week, and if not, it will just get donated. Oh, some candy bars. Let's put those up here with the tapioca pearls because those I use for baking sometimes too. There's so much stuff, and it's very overwhelming when I pull it out like this. We have a lot of dried beans. I don't make them very often because I was really struggling to get them to work at this elevation. And I finally figured out how to do that just last week maybe. And I can do that now. So maybe if I put these somewhere where I can actually see them instead of shoving them in the back of the pantry, I will remember to cook them. Definitely want to do these lima beans soon. So, I need to put my baking things in the back of the pantry. I have this. I kept the old shelves, or not shelves, little inserts out of our old fridge when we upgraded, and I use these to organize. So I just slide this in the back of the pantry, and it has cupcake liners, cake decorating things, cookie press, all that kind of stuff, which I don't use very often. When I need it, it's here. And I know it's just in the back of the pantry. It doesn't need to be pretty. It's functional. And it also keeps me from having to go into the very back of the pantry to get to things that I actually need to use. Not all of these beans have labels. So let me go grab some labels. I use the chalk labels, but I used an acrylic pen so it doesn't rub off. I have a massive amount of chalk labels because every time I ordered anything that has to do with organizing, they send chalk labels. So, I mean, it's great because I don't have to buy any, but it's also a little frustrating because I have to put them all in my little organizer bins. Guess it's a good thing that I'm organized here. All right, let me find one. These are already open, so I'll use these. I need to label these beans. Gotta kind of blow on these or wave them around because this acrylic pen takes a little bit to dry, but it doesn't rub off like the chalk pen. The chalk pen rubs off and then it doesn't completely wash off either. So it's like, can you just pick a side? Like, are you erasable or not? All right, so label on those. Darn, they won't fit 3 tall. Split peas we don't use very often. These are actually for making guinea pig treats, not so much for eating because they're definitely not my favorite peas. I much prefer a sweet pea. Lima beans. Let's put a label on those. They don't have one either. I keep, when I get things that have cooking instructions with them, I normally cut the instructions off and tape them to the outside of my bin. But these, I just made sure it was really clean and put it inside the bin. Okay, so we've got all of our beans here. Let's see, do we have more beans? More dried beans, should I say, because we have canned beans as well. Don't see any more dried beans in here. I should probably put our dessert, like box desserts, in with the baking supplies. That makes sense to me. But I know if I shove it to the back, it will be lost forever. Oh, I am so torn. Okay, we'll come back to that. I'm trying to change things up a little bit because, like I said, we've had it organized the same way for so many years. But also maybe there's a better way, and I just haven't figured out what it is yet. Okay, first thing I'm going to do then is just sort through all of this stuff, and anything that's expired, that is actually expired, throw it away. If it's just past its sell-by date but still appears to be good, we'll hold on to it. Things that don't even belong in the pantry, like drink things, are going to get moved over. I've been working through the massive pile, trying to organize things into smaller groups so that it seems a bit more manageable, because right now it's just very overwhelming. And I've decided to put the bread back in the same spot we normally put it, but to use a different bin. So I'm going to go ahead and put our bread items over there. I had another bread, but I lost it. Well, when it resurfaces, I will put it in here. So my thinking here is that if I put the gluten-free stuff towards the back, and I always put the tortillas under the bin so that they stay flat. And then I can put my gluten-free things, or actually just like the pastas that I keep inside, because I have like an overflow storage in the garage for boxes of pasta. Sorry, I got hungry, made myself a snack, so that's done. but I'm going to finish putting these in. So anyways, I keep a overflow stock in the garage because it's extremely hard to find my favorite brand of gluten-free pasta that everyone in the family will eat. And there's normally only one store that I can find it at, if they even have it. If I go there and I find it, I will stock up. And I can't fit all those at the pantry. Okay, I'm going to take a break, eat my snack, and keep organizing this into smaller, manageable piles. I decided to come at this a little differently. So I was thinking, like, this bin needs to go to the pantry in this place. And just the sheer amount of things was overwhelming. So while I've been having my snack and organizing into smaller stacks of like things, my brain said, oh, you can use the bins to organize the things. And then my brain said, oh, and then we can put those in the pantry. So instead of thinking about how the bins fit in the pantry, I'm looking at it in a way of how the things fit in the bins. And then I can figure out the pantry organization later. So right now I am putting the grits and the oatmeal into these bins, and yes, I'm dumping them onto the floor because I will vacuum and clean up the kitchen before I make dinner, and then it will be like it didn't happen at all. I've lost my rag though. Here it is. Make sure it's all good to go. Dry it off a little bit. These other ones are clean. Next. See, this is where it gets confusing because our peaches and cream oatmeal is the same color packaging as our cheddar cheese grits. And I went to get an oatmeal one day and I grabbed grits. And I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't grab 2 packs to dump in at one time. So I just had grits instead of oatmeal. All right, let's see. So grits, peaches and cream, grits. I'm not going to make y'all watch me put all these grits in these packages or in these bins. So I'm going to get things into the bins that I think they fit best in. And I'll come back on when I'm getting ready to put them in the pantry, and I'll move you all around so you can actually see in the pantry. I've got most of my miscellaneous categories into their bins. And I have a lot of things that are in bags or open boxes that need to be put into storage bins. But I got to clean off the counter before I can do that because I don't have room to do it. One thing I did was I moved the grits into this container and the oatmeal into this container. So I have them all in these kind of containers, and I'm hoping that we can tell them apart a little easier if they're in 2 different kinds of containers. So I'm going to move y'all around so you can see in the pantry, and I'll start putting these things in. Might move them around a few different times until I figure out a way that works. Then I will come back and put the open things into storage bins so that they stay fresh. I have tried many times to organize this pantry so that all the breakfast things are together and then lunch things that the kids have are together, but it never quite works out because the shelves are different heights. So like our cereal storage things fit here, and then these tall ones don't fit anywhere on them. So it's not the easiest pantry to organize based on shelf height, in addition to it being so deep. Because like if I shove these back here and we put something in front of them, like say cereal, you can't see them. And then all of my butterflies in this house forget that things exist. And if you put the cereal bins behind them because they're taller, you can't get them out without having to pull everything else out. It drives me absolutely nuts. So I try to put things in the back that only I use. And thinking about that right now, I think this bin should go back there next. This is all of our Asian-inspired kind of foods. We've got some dried tofu, some dried mushrooms, some soup bases, hot pot mixes, all kinds of good things in here. But I am normally the only one that cooks those, so I'm going to stick it in the back here. But I've got to move these things to get it back there. There we go. That actually works out pretty well because our rice noodles are here. Let me make sure I don't just these out. There we go. There's not too many left in there, so not too worried about that. Alright, put our bread back in here. Grits and oatmeal. Okay, there we go. So bread is kind of breakfast, grits and oatmeal, breakfast, although we don't stick to having things just at a certain time of day. Cereal, I know these are mostly empty, but they get refilled. And I have two more, and I kind of change them out as they fill up. I'm going to put these here. It's very close to where they were before. This is a box of, again, things that only I fix. We've got our gluten-free Red Lobster biscuits, some box rice, box mac and cheese. Let's see. Turn it around so I can maybe see what actually is in here. Don't think there's a way that really makes sense, so we're just going to hope for the best that way. Continuing on here, we've got some peanut butter, some Nutella, sun butter for me because I can't have peanut butter. I know my daughter gets the Nutella and she'll have Nutella and fruit or whatever she's eating, so I want to make sure this is easily accessible to her. I think that makes sense. I'm going to put their snacks. Normally, I have their snacks on these two shelves, so I want to keep that a bit consistent, but maybe just have them on this shelf and then have different things down there. But when I have chips, I put them in the big storage things like this, and they only fit on the bottom. So talking myself through this, so just go with the flow here. Oh, cans. Okay, so this is things that are not beans that are in a can. So some mushrooms, some canned soups that I cook with rather than the ones that the family members would eat. Some canned tomatoes. Slide this. My husband likes to eat the canned mushrooms. He'll cook those up, so I want to make sure he can see them. But I kind of don't like the cereal being here. Let's move it down here for now. We'll put these over here with the dried beans because that makes sense in my brain. These have to be cooked. Another one of the can organizers here. We've got some coconut cream, some evaporated milk, some sweetened condensed milk. Let's move this over. That makes a bit more sense. There we go. And I feel like this needs to be with the baking stuff, but I don't think I can fit it in there. Let's see if I can move some things around and make that work. Slide this over. No. My brain is turning. Let's see if we can cram these in here. There we go. There we go. Getting there. Okay. Cocoa powder. We'll just move the label to the side here. It's not one that gets used very often anyways. I'm actually going to switch it with the powdered sugar because powdered sugar is used more often than cocoa powder. And now I got to put the label back on the other side. It's a good thing about these chalk labels. They are very easily moved back and forth many times before they decide they're not going to stick anymore. Okay, that's a little wonky, but it will have to do. Powdered sugar. Powdered sugar, I'm actually going to move over here. Those are my flours, different kinds of flours and rices. These big bins don't fit in the pantry. So where I put the salt last time I cleaned the kitchen, I'm going to switch that around. I'm going to put the powdered sugar in here. Slide the quinoa over because if these lids butt up to each other, they don't want to go in. And the salt, since we don't use it very often, maybe only when we're canning, since it's canning salt or to clean. So I'm going to just stash that behind those, and that will be good to go. Moving back over to the pantry. My kids came home because it's getting ready to storm, and they were like, oh my God, you're still not done with this? Well, no, sorry, children. Oh, my ADHD got the best of me. Forgot what I was doing over here. Okay, let's see here. Let's see how much space I need. Because I have a hanging basket that I normally put on this door, so I try to leave enough room here that those will fit in. So let's move the white chocolate chip label to the side of the container here. We'll put it behind our cans that we use for baking. There we go. Perfect. I'm happy with that. And I actually have room that I could put something else back there, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Beans. I dropped one while it was the organizing thing, so I had to put it on. Actually, I didn't put it on top enough. Okay, so on top now. I'll use that one next time I need those beans. Let's slide this in here. So this one, I tried to organize these in a way that makes sense, but I know I'm the only one that will actually organize the things and put them back where they go if I pull it out. So this is why I have to do this to the extent of pulling everything out, because no one else in my family cares to have things organized. And then they all get offended when they're like, oh, you haven't bought this, that, or the other in forever. And I'm like, it's literally in the pantry. So we have just our plain beans, different varieties. And then we have the cans of foods that you can just open and eat. So we've got some red beans and rice, some seasoned lima beans, some Dr. Pepper beans. I don't think that my husband loves them, so those are in there for him. Let's keep moving along. All right, we've got one more bin of cans, and this is soups that the family likes to eat, different types of. What do we have in here? We got all the different kinds of chicken noodle soup for the kids. They have the different shaped noodles. Apparently that makes them very different. Some chunky brand soups for my husband, some veggies noodle soup, and I'm gonna stick these right here. Maybe people will choose. Actually, no. Let's move things around again. Let's put these up here. There we go. Then all the cans are together. Because if I'm thinking like the rest of my family and they're like, I want soup, they're probably going to look at the cans and like drag all of these out and not put them back up properly. So if all the cans are together, then that makes sense and they can grab what they need. And we had one that didn't fit all the way in, and it drives me nuts, but it's just going to be here for now. And I know what's back there, so I can pull that out if I need to. Okay, we're getting to the point that I can actually see my countertop and I have space to open everything and refill bins. So we're getting to the point now that the countertop is clearing off and I have space to refill my storage bins. So I'm going to grab the things that are open or that need to go in a storage bin so that things fit into the pantry a bit nicer. I'm going to pull all those out, and then I'm going to kind of compare what size bins I need. I'll get those, and then I'll come back and we can label up bins and fill them. To go back into the pantry. These I'm just going to keep out because we're going to eat those tonight. No point in taking up space that we don't need to use. Popcorn. We have a storage bin over here that we keep out with popcorn. So let's see. I could go with a bigger bin and then it will all fit. I'm going to do that. It won't fit back in the spot I normally stick it, but we will find a new home for it and everyone will adjust. Put the old kernels on top, put the new ones on the bottom. Go. We still got room for a little bit more in there. Just gonna set this over here. So I have to clean up the counters when I finish doing all of this. Chia seeds are already in this container, and I'm a little undecided because we do use chia seeds, but not very often. I'm gonna put them in a small bin, and whatever doesn't fit can just go in the trash. They might all fit, you know. Give them a little wiggle. There we go. Yes. Okay, and that can just go in the recycling, or I might just wash it up and use it for aquarium stuff. I try not to hoard too many things, but I've been giving away the little bins that I've kept when I give away plants or anything, so it doesn't stay around the house too long. Let's put a label on this. I know where I'm going to put it in the pantry, so I'm thinking about where I'm going to label this side. Just tap it because it's not all the way dry. I'll just make a new stack here, trash, and then bins that have been filled. Moving along here. I don't have a little bin small enough for these. I think I do. It's not the same exact bin. It's actually like a little lunchbox bin. And I'm not going to put a label on this because they're not going to last much longer. If we have hot chocolate or ice cream, they'll be used up. But the side of the bag split out, and it makes it such a pain. Okay. Now they're all stuck down in the corner. Good enough. In here, I have these organized in my drawer here. I've got multiple bags of chips and some Teddy Grahams. Teddy Grahams will fit in one of these small bins. Don't need to label those because we can see what they are. I normally don't label the kids' snacks unless it's chips that look the same like plain chips or salt and vinegar chips because those are pretty different. Let's see. Coffees. I'm going to put these in this size bin because when the bag is full, this is the size bin it takes. And if I pick some more up at the grocery store tomorrow, I can just add those. And again, we don't have to label that. You're such a silly child. We're trying to sneak through here like little trolls. It was pretty funny. But now I'm completely distracted because my brain has ran off. Okay, I've got more snacks over here. Oh, we've got so many different things. Okay, so many bags of tortilla chips, but everybody likes something different. Goldfish. I swear there was another. Yeah, here's another bin of goldfish. I'm going to put these in the small bin because we don't need this big bin right now. Try to remember which lid was where so they get washed. Another one we don't need a label, just snacks, tortilla chips. Normally, I just end up using these leftover tortilla chip bits for making soup and stuff for thickening. So I'm going to go ahead and mix these crummy bits all in here. And then I will decide if I'm going to put this in a smaller bin. I've got to compact my trash pile here. Oh, I'm struggling. All right, so definitely don't need this big thing. I'm going to get a small bin because I ran out. All right, got a few more sizes here. Just put this in here. All right, we can all tell these are crumb bits. This one can go. Running out of lids. Need more lids. More lids. All right. Will this one fit in here? Probably not. I'm gonna need another cereal bin. Doesn't matter if we put that lid on the right way because you can't pour the chips out of that spout. I'm gonna clean up my trash pile here. Put up our bag clips. This just needs to go in the trash. I don't know why we're holding on to that. This goes in recycling. I have these bins that I saved from our old freezer. I use them to kind of organize the kids' snacks, like the little things. So you can put them in and then kind of slide it out. So that's why some of these shelves are a bit scuffed up. But it was the only way I could kind of figure out to like organize it in a way that things kind of worked. To switch this around. Well, no. Because when this, oh no. This one here is for a lot of the breakfast things that the kids eat. So when it's, how am I going to put these snack bins in a way that they are not all just trapped in the back and then no one's going to eat them anyways. So let me think, what can I stick behind it that I don't need on a regular basis? We will put the Quick Oats and the potato flakes behind the kids' snacks. And will they fit? No, of course not. So my thinking here is to switch this around. So I normally keep this on the bottom for pulling out with the chips on it rather than the smaller snacks, but I think this is going to be better. Go. These can go back here behind where the chips will be. Chia seeds are going to go up here with the baking things. These also go with baking things. Chips and sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds in here. Chips down here. Marshmallows. These can go behind the snacks. There we go. Perfect. So that's not something I want the kids to be like snacking on every single day. We've got some more marshmallows, big marshmallows. This is full one. That's a fresh bin. And let's kind of stack these up like this. Like those in there. We're so close to being finished. We've got some mac and cheese cups. I'm going to put those right here where the kids can easily find them. This, I need my little hanging bin. Oh, let's not lose these things here. There we go. Let's make sure it fits. Yes. All right, so in here, we're gonna just put our box pancakes and my big bottle of vanilla extract. Perfect. All right. I'm gonna take a little walk around the kitchen, make sure I've got everything, and then we'll take one final look. I did find a few things that we forgot about. This cookie mix, my daughter really likes these. She likes the chocolate chips one. She really wants to make these, so I'm just gonna have to suck it up and make them. The Ritz crackers, I just leave in the box and I fold the top in like this. There's only one in here, so I'm gonna have to add this to my grocery list. But I just leave them in there. It makes sense. It works nicely. It's already square. I'm gonna slide it next to the other snacks. We've got pie filling that needs to go. I would ideally put it with the baking items. Actually, yeah, there we go. It doesn't fit in this thing very well though. There we go. Not as most aesthetically pleasing, but it works. I also found all these random bags of nuts. My husband has probably had it here for way too long, so I'm going to put these in a little bin and put them on his desk, and I think that's the best way to deal with that. Here's your up close and personal look. When I put the phone up here, you can really see how crazy deep that is. The camera is struggling with the difference in the light. So we have baking items, we have our Asian things back here that I cook. We've got grits and oatmeal, we've got bread, we've got canned soups, we've got canned items that are ready to eat, we've got canned beans that need to be cooked, we've got canned other items that need to be cooked, and then we've got our dry beans. Down here we have snacks with the marshmallows stashed behind so they're not easily accessible because those are not very healthy snacks. Down here we will have chips, but right now the only chips we have are the tortilla chips. We have our crackers, and then the kids' easy to grab individual snacks. Mostly breakfast items go in here, so like Nutri-Grain bars, the mini muffins, Pop-Tarts, Pop-Tart bites will go in here, but I also toss the seaweed snacks in there. They eat those pretty often too. So here's one final look. Nice and organized. Let's close it up. There we go. Now this top part, it's not too horrible right now, but some things fell over when I was cooking the other day. So I just need to straighten that up. But overall, this is already organized. And I have these little baskets on the side. And then over here, we just have our nori for making sushi. Up here, we have boxes of pasta that have already been opened. And this is so that I can easily grab them and just cook from them, so that I don't like forget they exist. And then go grab a full box. I've got some of my gluten-free things up here. I stash them here so that other people don't eat them, because I'm the only gluten-free person in the house. These gluten-free pizza crusts are amazing. Everybody in the house likes them, and they make very easy dinners. Otherwise, we have just like sauces and backup seasonings and things that would normally be in the pantry. If we're almost out of like garlic or something, I'll go ahead and buy it and just stick it up here. So when I run out, I don't have to remember to put it on the list. It's here. I can grab it. Spice rack thing. I think it's called Spicy Rack. It has all kinds of different ways that you can put it together in like different heights and stuff. It was pretty cool. You can also attach it to the wall, I believe, but I just have it standing in the pantry here because it's super deep back there too. You can see all the empty space. I actually have one of these bins with sprinkles and stuff just kind of shoved back here so I can pull it out if I need to. But there we go. Pantry is organized enough up there that I don't care, and the bottom is done. Pantry is done. Fridge and freezer is a problem for another day. And I know I was ranting about how this fridge is in here last time I did my kitchen cleaning. I just want to show you, like, if I open this door and I walk into this doorway and then I'm in the living room with the fridge door, it's absurd. And then same like here, if the pantry is open and the fridge is open, like, we're banging doors. And if both are open, yeah, it's a mess. We'll deal with it another day. No one can come through this walkway because I'm here. And if I need to open the freezer, I'm like trapped in between this counter. Anyways, a job for another day.